Hey there, welcome back to JC4JC. I'm Jay. Have you ever had a moment that you wish you could take back? If so, this video is for you. We're going to be talking about the darkest hour of Peter's life and the dawn that changed everything. So during the Last Supper, just hours before Jesus is arrested, he's looking at the disciples at the table, and he says that they're going to run away from him. They're going to run away from him in fear with this oncoming persecution. So Peter, the rock, immediately pushes back, and he says, even if everyone else runs away, I'm not going to fall away. And Jesus answers with a timestamp, and he says, before the rooster crows, you're going to deny me 3 times. So in Jewish law, a matter is often settled by 2 or 3 witnesses. So when something happens 3 times, it isn't accidental, it's confirmation. And the ones who were confronting Peter, they weren't kings or judges, they were just ordinary people. First, it was a servant girl who was sitting by the fire. Then another voice in the courtyard. There were simple questions, simple accusations. So Peter, who swung a sword against the soldiers just a little while ago in the Garden of Gethsemane, could now not withstand the voice of a servant girl and another's recognition. Now the crowd is involved in Peter. He's in the hot seat. All right, so here we are. The night is thinning. It's still dark. It's still cold. We're standing on the boundary between night, which hides everything, and morning, which reveals. And Peter is there. And Jesus already said what was going to happen. He says, before this night is over. And at this point, Peter has already denied knowing Jesus. He's done it twice. Now Peter, with everything he has, says for the 3rd time, I don't know him. Then the rooster crows. That sound marks the moment that the night ends and solidifies Peter's denial right down to the second at the edge of night. But then something happens in the sky. Light starts to appear. Morning has begun. Okay, so across the courtyard, through the thinning dark, Jesus looks at Peter. And I could only imagine the way Jesus looked at him. There was no anger, there was no outrage. There was something else. Compassion. The kind that says, I knew. The kind that says, it's all right, I'm still here. The kind that forgives before a word is spoken. And that look of compassion, it destroys Peter down to his core. He walks away from the crowd, and he's by himself now, and he weeps. So 3 days have passed, and Jesus was crucified, and then we go through the silent, dark defeat of Saturday. And then we have the shock of the empty tomb on Sunday. And then we rejoin Peter and the resurrected Jesus, and they're sitting around a fire. And notice that Jesus doesn't even bring up the fact that Peter denied him 3 times. He doesn't even bring it up. What he does bring up is he asks Peter, do you love me? And Peter says, yes, Lord, you know I love you. And Jesus tells him, well then, feed my lambs. And again, Jesus asks him, do you love me? And Peter says, yes, Lord, you know I love you. And Jesus tells him, tend my sheep. And then Jesus asks a 3rd time. The same number that sealed the denial now seals the restoration. He says, Simon, son of John, do you love me? The 3rd response sets the tone for the rest of Peter's life. 3 denials in the dark, 3 affirmations in the light. Now we all have these courtyard moments that we wish that we could take back. But the rooster does not announce the end of your story. I just love how this part of the story sets Peter's darkest despair at the apex of night. I don't see the rooster's crow as an exclamation point to Peter's denial. I see it as the boundary between who he was and who he's going to become. Maybe you've had your own version of that rooster, the sound that says you failed God. I know I have. But that's never the end. The night had its hour, but the dawn is a new beginning. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed exploring the overlooked elements in this part of the gospel, the rooster, the dawn, the redemption. Please remember to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching, and I will see you next time on JC4JC. Have a good one.